Okay, we now have received our first post-debate polling between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and it is really, really bad for Donald Trump. Not so bad that we can stay home. No, we still have to vote, but it is bad. A new NBC Wall Street Journal poll has Donald Trump 14, that is not a typo, 14 points behind Joe Biden, 53 to 39 among registered voters. There's also an IBD poll, which says it's Biden only +3. There's a poll from The Hill that has Biden +7. And there's a new CNBC poll that has Biden +13. Those are the 4 post-debate polls we had as of this morning. Among those polls, the average Biden lead is 9.3. The official Real Clear Politics average is Biden +8.1. And this +14 for Biden in the NBC Wall Street Journal poll is almost a doubling of Biden's lead in that same poll since the last time it was done. What's very interesting about that particular poll is that the NBC Wall Street Journal poll tends to track the sort of average of all polls. So if you have a range of polls saying a candidate is anywhere from +2 to +10 and the average is 5, usually the NBC poll is right in with the average. That poll now says Joe Biden is winning by 14. So we really are seeing a difference between 2016 and 2020 polling now. As I mentioned, today, October 5, Joe Biden is +8.1 on average. Back in 2016, on this date, October 5, Hillary Clinton was only ahead by 3.9. So, of course, we've got to be careful. The polls could be off. Everybody has to vote, the voter suppression, etc. But the idea that the numbers now are just like 2016 is no longer true. Joe Biden's lead today is about 110% larger than Hillary Clinton's was in 2016. So what does that mean? It means we vote. It means we try to make those numbers a reality. It very much does not mean we can check out and not worry. If Donald Trump does recover relatively quickly from coronavirus, they will paint him as some kind of heroic savior. They will push everything they can to make the case that strong hero Trump is the person we need. They will suppress the vote. They will do all of it. But right now, it's looking really bad for Trump. In the meantime, as another data point, the 538 2020 projection has slightly ticked up. You'll remember about a month ago, Joe Biden had about a 70% chance to win. It is now 81. Does it change anything about what we need to do? No. A month ago, in 100 simulations, Trump would win in 30. Now Trump wins 19. But so what? There's still a 1 in 5 chance, and it's too great a risk to become even one iota complacent at this time. In terms of the popular vote, again, RCP has it Biden 8.1 ahead. 538 has it Biden 7.2 ahead. That's big for 538. So now we vote. The other question is, what will the Trump COVID diagnosis do to the polling? Anyone who would vote based on which candidate has COVID is already voting for Trump, is my take. I don't believe Trump's sycophants will abandon him because he got COVID. I also don't think Trump is going to gain sympathy voters because he got COVID. I think it cancels out. What you could have are people for whom Trump getting COVID could be the final straw in terms of Trump's disregard for the virus. Those could be people who abandoned Trump over his complete mishandling of the situation. We may have polls today or potentially tomorrow that are post-Trump's diagnosis. We will see what they say, and we will have those numbers for you on our Instagram. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at David Pakman Show. Real quick, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Magic Spoon, who have done something awesome. They've taken all of our favorite sugary childhood cereals that we know we shouldn't eat anymore and turn them into something you can actually feel good about eating as an adult. There's 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry. They taste great. They're crunchy. They're sweet like you would expect this type of cereal to be, but it's perfect for a ketogenic diet because one bowl has only 3 net carbs, 12 grams of protein. It's sugar-free, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free. Once our team tried Magic Spoon for the first time, we actually ended up emailing Magic Spoon back and saying, can you send us more boxes, send more samples. They've been a big hit with David Pakman Show staffers. And Magic Spoon knows how delicious their cereal is, because if you don't like it, they'll refund all of your money, no questions asked, and you'll get free shipping when you go to magicspoon.com/Pakman and use the code Pakman. That's Pakman.